Hi everyone, my name is Mike Christian D. Garcia, and today I will be continuing to discuss the previous vlog that I made, and it is all about the Philippine history. First things first, let's discuss about the minutes of the proceedings on the national territory of the 1971 Constitutional Convention. This topic is all about we Filipino high school student who took the history and geography subject seriously would tell that a sovereign state like the Republic of the Philippines is defined as a community of the people, more or less numerous, permanently occupying a defined territory with a duly established government imbued with sovereignty and to which the inhabitants render habitual obedience. Thus, there are four elements of a state: people, territory, government, and sovereignty. Well, we have 111 million people. We have a government, although not perfect, but even the US is not perfect. And we have sovereignty, considering that we can enforce our laws from Batanes to Tawi-Tawi, and we are duly recognized by the international community of nations. We do have a defined territory, albeit China and other claimants are encroaching into our western front. Both our territorial domains and our exclusive economic zones. The first article of the Philippine Constitution defines the national territory as that which comprises the Philippine archipelago with all the islands and waters embraced therein, and all other territories over which the Philippines has sovereignty or jurisdiction, consisting of its terrestrial, fluvial, and aerial domain, including its territorial seas, seabed, the subsoil, the insular shelves, and other submarine areas. The waters around, between, and connecting the islands of the archipelago, regardless of their breadth and dimensions, form part of the internal waters of the Philippines. The role of Islam in the history of the Filipino people. The first monastic religion in the Philippines that has been documented is Islam. Muslims from the Persian Gulf, southern India, and various sultanates in a larger Malay archipelago brought Islam to the Philippines in the 14th century. Then, in the late 14th and early 15th centuries, came the first missionaries. They aided in the establishment of sultanates and the conquering of Mindanao in Sulu's mainland. The group that converted to Islam became known as the Moros, and the Muslim conquest even reached Tondo, which was afterwards replaced by the vassal state of Maynila that belonged to the Bruneian Empire. By the time that the Spanish Armada commanded by Ferdinand Magellan landed in the 16th century, Muslim sultanates had already started to grow in the central Philippines. But nowadays, we can see that most of the religion of the Philippines are Roman Catholic. So we are thankful to the Spaniard because they brought the religion Roman Catholic to the Philippines. And if the Spaniard didn't came to the Philippines, there are possibilities and tendencies that the Philippines were mostly Muslim. History of terrorism in the Philippines. From the word terrorism, it struck me for a reason that this caused a big problem to my country, the Republic of the Philippines. It caused government a headache as this caused chaotic situation and events. The societal implication of terrorism in the Philippines is significant and far-reaching. The country has long been plagued by extremist groups, including Islamic jihadists, communist guerrillas, and other insurgent factions. These groups have carried out numerous attacks and bombings, targeting civilians and military personnel alike. This has led to fear and mistrust amongst communities and has had a detrimental effect on the nation's economy. Tourism has also contributed to poverty and instability, as many people of my community are unable to go out their lives and activities without fear of violence. Furthermore, tourism has caused a sharp decline in tourism, which is important for the country's economic development. Report of the cholera epidemic in the Philippines. The Philippines cholera outbreak emphasizes the value of making investments in public health infrastructure and expanding access to sanitary facilities and clean water. To stop the spread of diseases like cholera, the government must also educate the populace on the significance of cleanliness and sanitation practices. A growing number of novel and emerging infectious danger pose a serious threat to public health, while outbreak of infectious illnesses that can be prevented by vaccination, such meningococcal disease, yellow fever, and cholera, can have catastrophic impact in places with inadequate health infrastructure and resources, as well as where prompt detection and intervention are challenging in the present times. Mintal, the Little Tokyo of the pre-war Philippines. It is mostly forgotten these days or vaguely mentioned during some conversations with Davaoenos. The story of Mintal, the Japanese presence and their contribution to contemporary life and culture is totally disregarded. A pity since this is such a crucial part of Davao history. Mintal is an example of forgotten heritage. Mintal is commonly known as Little Tokyo, but there is little to remind one of Tokyo. In fact, the town looks like any other typical town along any Philippine highway. Tired, dusty, and sleepy. Nothing but a few decaying Japanese monuments. Graveyard still inscribed with Japanese characters and the cemetery. A concrete pyramid badly broken down next to cheap obelisk memorial to Ohata Kyusaburo, located in what is now the public school football field. Carlos P. Garcia, Sona. Carlos P. Garcia is the 8th President of the Philippines and the 4th President of the Third Republic of the Philippines. After he succeeded the remaining 8 months of the term left by President Ramon Magsaysay after dying from a plane crash. He was president after winning the 1957 election. He was one of the president who has been exposed to politics for long and have had many experiences. He has been a governor, congressman, senator, and vice president. Indeed, he is one of those educated presidents, proven by a law degree. Even before he was president, he has already shown his willingness to make Philippines a better country. And also, he was famous on his program, which is the Filipino First policy. The speech of President Marcos on the Philippines Program for Economic Recovery and Growth on July 25, 1984. In his address on the program Economic Recovery, Ferdinand E. Marcos highlighted the need for urgent action to address the economic challenges facing the Philippines at the time. According to Marcos, the Philippine economy was facing a range of problems, including high inflation, a large external debt, and high unemployment rates. He argued that these issues had been exacerbated by the global economic downturn that had affected many countries around the world. He emphasizes the importance of investing in infrastructure, promoting industrialization, and boosting agricultural production to create jobs and stimulate economic growth.